Good morning and welcome to today's Talking Cafe. Today is the 14th of January. This month is going fast. The new year is flying by again. It is Thursday and you're back in Sedgemoor this morning for today's Talking Cafe Live. My name's Lauren Giddins. For those who don't know me and haven't seen me a million times on these Talking Cafes, I am the team lead for the village agents and community agents in the Sedgemoor area. So I was talking to someone this morning about how long it's been. I think it was, a good May possibly that I did the first Talking Cafe. It feels like I haven't been with you for a little while. Christmas has been busy and I've had some time off, but it is lovely to be back with you. As always, if you have any comments that you would like to pop into the comment section, any questions that you want to ask, if you need support, please do let me know and I can ask the questions and get back to you. So this morning I am joined by three lovely ladies who are going to introduce themselves to you, and they're going to talk about something which I hope will be really helpful for those of you who are spending more time at home than perhaps you are used to. So I'm going to introduce and bring into the stream now Laura, Julie and Sue. So morning, Laura, Julie and Sue. It's lovely to have you this morning.
Hi.
We have had power cuts and all sorts of issues this morning, haven't we? We're all here now.
Yes, we have.
Lovely to have you all.
Thank you.
Julie, you're going to get us kick-started, is that right?
Yeah, I'm going to pick up first. Well, the three of us represent an organisation called The Reader, which is a national charity that runs something called shared reading. And in normal times, we run face-to-face sessions in all sorts of settings around the country. I think there's something like 600 plus groups every week now. In Somerset, we run those groups in libraries, but elsewhere we run them in all kinds of things, from prisons to young offenders institutions, and lots and lots of different sessions just to get as many people as we can involved. Shared reading is a really simple idea, but I think it's got real benefits for mental health and well-being. And actually, in this awful time we're living through, it's kind of coming into its own. And I think people are really seeing the benefits of it. And very simple. All that happens is that a group of people get together and we share a story and a poem. We read them aloud. We take it in turns to read aloud, although there's no pressure on anyone. If they don't want to, you can just listen. And then we stop from time to time to talk about what we've read. And that chat can take us in all sorts of directions. And one of the things that group members say they really love about the group is that when you read at home, and I know lots of people read and enjoy reading and enjoy the escape that it gives them. When you read at home, all you're getting is your own response to a story or a novel. When you're reading in a group and chatting, you hear all these different ideas and thoughts, and it can really open up what you've been reading and make you think of all kinds of different things. Well, I would never have thought of it that way, So it adds an extra dimension. Now, since lockdown, of course, the libraries have been closed. So we've had to change the way we do things, and we now run groups online on Zoom. They're free, they're open to absolutely everybody, and it's just a lovely way to step away from your day-to-day and to have a lovely relaxing time with a story and a poem and a group of like-minded people. So we wanted to come on today just to introduce this idea to all the watchers of the Talking Cafe, and to invite them along to a shared reading session and hopefully get them involved. I think it's quite important also to say what shared reading isn't, because I think sometimes people think, oh God, book groups, they sound a bit intense, it sounds a bit demanding, there's probably work to do in advance, and it's not like that at all. There's no homework, you don't have to read anything in advance. The group leader will bring the story and the poem each time. It's definitely not like school. And I know some people have put off reading for life at school, aren't they? We're there just to enjoy it and to get our own natural reactions to what we're reading. We'll never be put on the spot. I'd never say, right, Laura, what do you think of this line in this poem? It's up to you how much you contribute. But what we find is, as time goes on, people get more and more confident to contribute to the discussion, and to really get into it and really feel they've escaped their day-to-day for a little while. There's no right and wrong answers as well. Everything is a right answer because it's your own natural response to what you're reading.
Yeah. Fantastic. That all sounds amazing and fantastic for people in these times that are lacking in connection and, like you say, that escapism from their everyday life. I know Laura's going to talk a little bit about carers, but it's something we're really keen to focus on this year is how carers and are cared for escape a little bit of their everyday difficulties. So I think this sounds like something that a lot of our viewers are going to be really interested in.
Yes, I mean, I should perhaps have started by saying the reason the three of us are here today is that I support all the people who volunteer in Somerset for this sort of mainstream shared reading groups. I'm getting quite a lot of feedback. Are you getting that feedback noise? I just hope people...
I think we had an echo for a minute, but I think it's gone again now.
Brilliant. Okay. I look after the
issues with my sound. I don't know if it's my end. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you fine, Laura. When you joined on the computer just then, that's why we got the echo. But if the sound is better on the computer for you, I can swap swap the mobile one for the computer one if that's better for you.
Yes, let me see if I can come in the computer
join again. I'll mute you on your phone so that we don't get that echo again, but try and join on the computer and see if that's any better for you.
Brilliant.
And we'll just talk whilst Laura's sorting that.
So I look after the groups that are open to absolutely everybody. And Sue has come along today because Sue is one of our volunteers who leads shared reading groups. And it's going to be Sue who's going to run the next lesson that we're going to tell you about today. So I'll pass to her in a moment. And then Laura is here because she works on a different project again, as you just mentioned, Lauren. She is looking to set up shared reading for people who live with dementia and their carers. So that brings a whole new dimension and a whole new area to shared reading. And we'll move on to that in a little while. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that I can tell you at the moment. Other than we would love people to get involved with this, and really I can't stress enough what a lovely way it is to spend a couple of hours. It really does. It's a form of escapism, and lots of people I know enjoy reading already and know what benefits it brings them. And this just adds something a little different, a little bit more sociable, as you said, Lauren. A lot of people are spending so much time at home, looking out the window or, going out for their one walk every day, not really seeing anybody. This is a very easy way to share a cup of tea and a nice time with some other people.
Absolutely.
So, Sue, I don't know if you want to talk about the session that we've got lined up.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Yes, I'm going to start a session. I'm very excited about this. This is actually my first shared reading session. So really hoping lots of people will come and bring their friends and tell everybody all about it. The date I've decided is for the first one will be the 20th. So next Wednesday at 2:00 in the afternoon. So I hope that suits people. Seems like a time, seems like a sensible time to me. Evenings are another possibility, but I think having spoken to Julie, we're thinking about organising something along those lines for people who are working. But certainly for the first one, next Wednesday at 2:00 in the afternoon is when I'm hoping to start. And if you would like to sign up for it, there is an email address which you need to get through to southwest@thereader.org.uk, and just let them know. I don't know what the procedure is there. I assume there's a form or something for people to fill in, or maybe just an email. And so we know your contact details, and then I can Zoom you on Wednesday, and we can get started. So really looking forward to meeting as many of you as possible, as would like to come along. Just give it a try and see what you think. Okay?
Fantastic.
Yeah, it really is. It's as simple as that. If you email southwest@thereader.org.uk, I see that email and I make sure you get onto the invitation list. And there's nothing more involved. You don't need to fill in a form. There's no payment. There's no commitment either. You can come to the sessions you want to come to. You don't have to sign up for anything more than one session.
Perfect. Thank you.
I am just typing those details into the comment section so that people can access them. And I'm also just putting it along the bottom of the screen there so that people know that your next session will be next Wednesday, 2 to 3 o'clock. And if they would like to join you, they can email this email address.
Perfect.
Exciting. And Sue, you volunteered. Have you joined these sessions yourself? How long have you been doing the shared reading for?
Literally, my first one is next Wednesday, so I'm hoping lots of people come. But I've done the I've done the amazing training. It was so good, and I'm really enjoying it. So looking forward to sharing reading. I love reading anyway, as we all do, but looking forward to doing it in a slightly different way. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's really exciting.
Mm.
So I don't know is it Laura next who's going to let us know about her project?
Yes, I can. If everyone can hear me okay now.
I can hear you perfect. Does yours sound better now?
Yes, much better.
Good.
So hi everybody. So I started as a volunteer with the Reader as well, about the same time as Julie actually. But I now work to coordinate a project that we started last year, and it's to run across Somerset, and it's to read specifically with people who are living with dementia. So as I say, the programme started last year, and we recruited volunteers and they went through their training, and they then went into care homes across Somerset to run weekly shared reading groups. Unfortunately, the lockdown happened, so we hadn't got very far with that. But, obviously we're hoping that when things return to a sense of normality again, that we'll be able to go back in and do face-to-face things with people. The really good news is that we had some more funding last year. So we're going to continue developing the programme. But what we would like to do this time is to put more of a focus on people who would normally attend daycare centres. So again, obviously that's tricky at the moment with the situation being as it is. But, as we're saying, so many people at home, we have the alternative provisions that we are offering. So online reading sessions through Zoom. Very much in this situation, is depending on people at home. So carers or family members, they're really pivotal, in being able to help with any sort of IT at that end. But we also offer shared reading over the telephone, and we have the Lifeline learning packages that we send out, activity packs, which are basically the stories and the poems, which can be printed off and shared. We find with the people living with dementia that poetry tends to work better. And I've brought along a poem, so if we have time, we can share that together. But yeah, it's just a really lovely thing to do, especially at the moment. As we said, more than ever, there's such a need for it. So we're recruiting for volunteers to train. Anybody that's interested in doing the training, which will be online and over a couple of days. And then we hope to be able to set something up, and eventually, when we can do face-to-face, to go back into daycare settings and continue with the programme.
Yeah. Fantastic. One of the things that I was thinking when you were talking there, Laura, is about the IT and about how not only people with dementia, but the elderly might be able to interact with that. If you come across anyone who's struggling, wants to join the groups but can't because of issues setting up their technology, we might be able to help them, especially people who are clinically extremely vulnerable in these times. We have some funding to support them in getting online so that they can continue to connect and interact with people. So if that is something you come across and somebody wants to join but they're struggling to, please do let me know and I can try to help with that.
That's really good to hear, actually.
Yeah. Because a lot of people were thrust into the world of technology last March, weren't they? But a lot of people haven't been able to get on board with it for various different reasons, even not having internet. So we're really keen to help people set up so that they can FaceTime their family during shared reading, all those kind of things that will keep them well.
To hear. Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great to know, actually. Because as you say, I think lots of people have really taken technology on, haven't they, in order to help them contact their families. I think, lots of us had done a Zoom session before the beginning of lockdown, and now we're Zooming away.
Daunting, can't it? If you haven't done it before, it can be so daunting and it can feel like such a huge challenge.
Definitely.
So it's good to hear that the support is there.
Yeah. And the other thing that we've been doing since lockdown started is we've been providing refurbished electronics, so telephones and laptops and tablets and things like that. If anybody has any that they're sat around in drawers not using, they can donate them to us and we'll refurbish them, wipe them clean and give them a charge and things like that, and then donate them to someone who can't afford to buy technology so that they can still get involved in these sorts of things. So we're working really hard to try and make sure that people have access to the online world, because there is so much out there for them if we set up.
Brilliant.
Yeah, fantastic.
It's really good.
So go on, Julie.
I was just going to say, we do actually, there are other ways of accessing shared reading, because I know for some people Zoom is a little bit daunting still. And we do run groups on email. That was how we started when the library was closed. You can just, if you send me your email to the same contact point, southwest@thereader.org.uk, you can say, well, I don't want to do a Zoom group, or I'm not free at that time. And we send out stories and we get a little bit of a conversation going that way. So everything is done BCC so that your details are not shared with everyone else. If you want to comment on a story or a poem, you just send me your comments and I then circulate them and other people can then react and respond and we get that conversation going online. So that's another, slightly lower tech way, but still a lovely, fun way to get involved with it.
Yeah. That sounds like a really good option as well. I've noticed a lot more of our clients are using email these days, and it's really nice to see them kind of, that's like the first step into the online world is using their email accounts. So definitely noticed an increase. That's great to hear that that's an option too.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic. Is there anything else that any of you are thinking we haven't quite covered yet? You still like to say about shared reading?
Just trying to have a think, actually, if we have.
I wonder if in the future, perhaps next month or some point later on in the year, we could do a shared reading session on a talking cafe. So we could invite any of our viewers to interact in the comments section, but we could kind of, whether you've got any other volunteers that could all come on board. I think there's quite a few. We can have sort of up to 10 people, maybe more, on screen. So we could always do a kind of shared reading session to give people a taste of what it might actually be like during a session.
I think that would be brilliant.
Fantastic. Great idea.
Really good.
I'll speak to you on emails afterwards and we can set another date aside later on in the year and do that. I think that would be fantastic.
I think also that's worth mentioning that the Reader, as a national organisation, does a lot online as well. So people can, if anybody is interested this morning, they can go and have a look at what the Reader's doing. We have a website, which is literally www.thereader.org.uk, and also a very strong Facebook presence. So if you search for the Reader on Facebook, we have daily poetry readings. We have a weekly interactive session, a bit like this one, where people can comment on what's being read in the comments section and and start the conversation going. So there's a lot going on. So anyone who enjoys books and reading might want to dip in and out of what's happening.
Fantastic. Well, if there are anybody, is there anybody watching wants to ask a question, they can pop it in the comment section now. But what tends to happen with these sessions is people come and watch it later today or tomorrow, and then they ask questions. So if anything comes up, Julie, I've put your email address in the comments, and Laura, I'll pop yours in there if that's okay for the Dementia Project, and they can get in touch with you directly.
Brilliant.
That's brilliant.
Okay. And I think we've definitely got time for your poem, Laura, if you would like to read it, and I can try and share my screen so that that's on there for people to read.
Okay. So the poem that I've chosen today is called Sea Fever, and it's by John Masefield. I must go down to the seas again, to the lonely sea and the sky, and all I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by, and the wheels kick and the wind's song and the white sails shaking, and a grey mist on the sea's face, and a grey dawn breaking. I must go down to the seas again, for the call of the running tide is a wild call and a clear call that may not be denied. And all I ask is a windy day with the white clouds flying, and the flung spray and the blown spume and the seagulls crying. I must go down to the seas again, to the vagrant gypsy life, to the gull's way and the whale's way, where the wind's like a whetted knife. And all I ask is a merry yarn from a laughing fellow rover, and a quiet sleep and a sweet dream when the long trick's over.
Thank you for sharing that, Laura.
Beautiful.
Funnily enough, Julie and I chose the same poem.
Oh, wow.
In a moment of extraordinary telepathy, didn't we?
Oh my goodness. We're all missing the seaside. We're missing the sea, the light, all that you get when you're by the sea.
Yeah. That's, I suppose I just miss just being able to just, I think, well, we all do.
I've been living by the sea for the past 6 years till July, and you don't realise how much you miss it until you're not near it anymore. I mean, just the light in the sky is different. Everything is so different. Although it's beautiful here as well, when you're living in a landlocked place, it takes you a while, but then you think, that living by the sea was really quite special. It appeals to all the senses, doesn't it? The smell and the sound and everything. Gorgeous.
It's an openness. It's a sense of openness, isn't it?
Yeah. That we all miss. Yes. Yeah.
I can really see how these shared reading sessions are going to transport people from their difficult lives at the moment to a place where they were perhaps happier, healthier, loving their life a little bit more, and just give them the opportunity to kind of enjoy those memories and hopefully know that in the future we can get back to those kind of days. I can definitely see how it's going to provide people escapism, isn't it?
And that helps us with choosing the material as well, because maybe that gives us some kind of direction. Choose something which is a bit uplifting, which takes you out of yourself and out into the open. The poems about nature, or as you did about the sea. I mean, it's quite useful to know that, isn't it? Really, because you don't want anything which is going to make people feel more confined than they already are. It's got to be something to help you escape a bit. Yeah.
I think sorry.
Go on, Laura.
No, I was just going to say, I think just what we do in itself, in just the very process of how we read together, it does take you out of yourself, doesn't it?
Definitely.
Even if it's for 20 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It can be such a respite from what's going on internally.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I was just going to say about dementia, Laura, there's so much research about reminiscence, isn't there? And actually reading and poetry can bring about so much of that.
Particularly, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, very much so. It's
Yeah.
incredible, actually. Yeah, it's incredible how it works. It's just,
And of course, lots of older people like me learnt poems like that at school. We had to learn poems in the olden days, off by heart. And I was just thinking when you said that, for somebody with dementia, that could be quite a sort of uplifting activity, couldn't it? To read one of those types of sort of traditional poems that we had to learn.
And quite often they are remembered.
Yeah,
I bet. Yeah.
It accesses a different type of your brain, doesn't it? A different part of your brain, a bit like music. So it may find that it's really beneficial for someone with dementia to unlock that part of their brain again. And maybe that someone that can't speak or recall things suddenly comes out with a poem that they remember from their school days.
Yes.
And because poetry is, it is metaphorical, and that does respond so well to somebody living with dementia. That really well.
Yes.
The language. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic. It all sounds really exciting, and I hope that people can join you, especially in your next session, Sue. I hope it goes well.
I hope so.
People will enjoy it. I'm sure they will.
Well, if nobody comes, will you be there?
Yeah. It's been great talking to you all this morning. Is there anything you want to say before we finish up?
I think just thank you for the opportunity to be able to talk to your followers on Facebook, and that's really lovely because we just want to get the word out there and get as many people involved as we can. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Just a quick question: are we actually talking live to anybody at the moment? Do we know?
Yeah, there are some people watching. There's been people dipping in and out. Numbers have varied, but what happens is I will post this video to our Talking Cafe Facebook page so that you can go on and share it to any other pages that you might have or friends. And you'll be surprised how quickly the views go up once it starts being shared. People will come back and find this video, and the word does spread.
Right.
Sure.
Okay. Interesting.
Fantastic. Well, it's been really great talking to you. I think if we do another session where we actually share some more reading, perhaps if you've got more volunteers that want to get involved, that would be fantastically beneficial for our viewers. So I look forward to hopefully speaking to you again in the future.
Okay. Nice to see you all.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.